So one other thing I would like to more deep dive into a little bit on the young entrepreneurship. Do you have any mentorship program in your channel?
We do. We have actually a significant number of, some of our resources are where, one of, like, not just our board members, they're phenomenal people. If you look at their bios and their resumes and where they come from, I mean, we got like, one of our board members ran IHG. He was a vice president. He ran a $6 billion portfolio of the hotels and all that, and just retired. Who was one of our board members. I mean, they're people with served 30 and 40 years in the industry, and IT industry and healthcare industry, a lot of different industries, and film industry, and so what happens? These people have so many great ideas themselves. And they are our resource for the members too. And, so you talked about mentorship. I mean, they definitely, some of our members actually, especially younger crowd, reach out to these people and continue to, gain access to them. And we definitely have, even from high school, believe it or not, some of the colleges in town, like Gwinnett has sit on the board, they're sending a lot of students in the chamber, a lot of chamber members even, and board members are, providing the mentorship. So yeah, it's one of the very big project, believe it or not.
That's a great thought. So please do let us know so that, our viewers also will be able to know when there is a mentorship program. Our kids, NRI kids would be interested to. Probably I'll get more information and translate to the community. So tell us, I think in the interest of time, I have a couple of more questions which are very key. One would be, what are your last 5 years achievements? If I would ask you, what are the great things you have done from the chamber which are useful to the community, I would like you to explain them.
Sure. If you deduct the 2 years that we lost with COVID, then the last 5 years, not just creating the network and the infrastructure, and like I said, 35 years of doing business with a lot of people. At least it allowed us to bring all of these resources to the table and provide it for our members. And what a lot of our members have enjoyed. Some of the resources they're not even aware of, believe it or not. I mean, to give you an example, the state of Georgia, economic development has, 82 different programs, believe it or not. Okay. Most people don't know that. Most people don't know that you can tap into so many resources, not just abundance of money for minority and other businesses, but in community development and certain areas of the community where the state actually wants to see people come in. Give you an example. Recently, I got approached by economic development and said, do you know anybody who's willing to open up a liquor store? They're willing to give $500,000.
Wow.
And I'm like, really? What kind of economic development plan is this? Well, there's a community about 250 miles south, somewhere that there's no liquor store in town. The nearest liquor store is 35 miles away. Community needs a liquor store. There's a state highway kind of runs through close by, a lot of trucks and this and that, and there is a bed and breakfast and with 8 rooms right there, but there's no liquor store.
Awesome.
Okay? And the local community development people approach me and say, Dr. Sheikh, do you know anybody who would like to open up? And not just that, not just that they give you the land for free, maybe $1 lease for 99 years, and give you the money to start, but also, help you get the money from the bank, and they'll vouch for it, and you can borrow money at less cost. It's just one of the example that I'm giving you. Sometimes we just don't know. I mean, there are lot of plans, a lot of funding, federal funding, which is earmarked at the state level to be spent. Like when Trump was in the office, $179 million were given to Georgia.
Wow.
And say, and this money needs to be spent for this purpose in community development, and for this purpose, whether it's a minority-driven or stressed community development areas, or certain zones, or certain type of businesses. So what happens, that money just sits there, and community development and economic development people just don't know what to do with it, right? They want to give that with both hands, but they just don't know who to, right? It just sits there and eats away. Nothing happens. The money goes back to the federal government, and the state loses that for the next year and next year. And so that needs to be spent in the right direction, right? So it is one of the resources, So you said in the last 5 years, what we have achieved, we brought in a lot of different businesses to Georgia and some other states. That's another thing we've done, that helps the local economy, local community development, helps local taxes, especially in film industry. We brought in a lot of business from outside in EV battery industry, so there's certain industries in manufacturing, and they coming to Georgia. We facilitate that. We find them turnkey operations close to Savannah, close to the port, close to the highway. They're looking for land or buildings and warehouses, and so we've been a facilitator in those type of ventures also for the state of Georgia. So that's of course part of economic development and part of workforce development. When we help groom a lot of talent. We have Film Academy where we're grooming a lot of talent. A lot of kids, young people, entrepreneurs trying to go in film industry. That's an 18-month program that we're training them. They automatically, at the tail end, land a great job in studios and making movies, whether it's, building a stage, or director, producer, accounting, cameras, rigs, editing, audio, audio visual, engineering. So there are a lot of these things that we do behind the scenes and have done the last 5 years that has helped with the workforce development in the state of Georgia. That's what they call it. So there's been significant achievements, that last 5 years. We've been busy providing all of this to our members. Because now the membership has grown rapidly, believe it or not. I mean, in 9 months, needless to say, yesterday we met last night at our Republic Day celebration, and one of the state senator, Sean Still, introduced me as to other senators and Congress people, saying, "Meet Dr. Sheikh. He has the biggest chamber."
Absolutely.
In the state of Georgia. I'm like, oh, really? How did we become that big all of a sudden? We just started enrolling membership, not even a year. We're growing rapidly. You've seen it at our signature event. A couple of hundred people show up. It is phenomenal. And we're happy, so we want to continue to grow and continue to provide those great services that I talked about, and great resources to all of our members. I mean, some of the resources are, not just the access to all these relationships with the state or economic development, but also, learning and teaching and in discussions. And, we have a new project called CEO Roundtable, okay, where we're going to invite the CEOs of different size companies, and they get to sit down on a truly a round table and discuss their headaches, their problems, their day-to-day operational issues, or how to grow their company. So what we want is a small business with an annual revenue of $2 million. Sit down with a company with annual revenue of 100 million or $400 million and learn from them and say, what headaches did you have when you were small? And how did you get to be where you are? It's one of those, discussion resource that I think will be very helpful to some of our members. And I can't wait to start that this year.
I think that's great achievement. And it takes a lot of efforts to really do all these coordinations and facilitations. And I think that's a great achievement from the Chamber of Commerce. And probably more and more people definitely want to join. I myself want to join, definitely I'll like do after this, because I see a lot of insightful information from the government and I see you very active. Yes, last night also I was very much observing you from how you are interacting with the different senators, commissioners, mayors, and all those kinds of stuff. So definitely that's a great insight to all the audience. And also one more question I always get. You have a Indo-American chambers in US and there is also an Indo-American chamber of India. So what is your connection? Is there any plans in future to collaborate and, get together? Because that will be a humongous benefit for Indo-American relationships. Can you please expand on those grounds?
Oh, sure. No, actually, I'm glad you asked. Totally forgot about that. As a matter of fact, we are the new chamber that just started literally, 5 years ago. But, they've been around for 35, 40 years, right? Absolutely. So believe it or not, our inception was modeled after them. So, all these years, like I said, when I travel, take delegations to India with all those foreign leaders and business and politicians, and guess who actually receives us all these years? It's always been the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce in India.
Oh, wow.
And that's where it all started. So every time we've gone there to India, they're the one hosting us. They're the one actually taking the entire delegation and put us in front of their membership. And we are the panel discussing things when we go to India in front of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce members, in Mumbai. Now, when we fly from Mumbai to Chennai, then Indo-American Chamber of Commerce chapter Chennai receives us, take us out to lunch and entertain us and take care of our sometimes even transportation or inviting local businesses and business leaders and politicians. They're the one hosting us, right? Same in Bangalore, same in Pune, same in Hyderabad. Okay, so what is happening that Indo-American Chamber of Commerce in India, the different chapters, they're always been there for us. Okay, so I call them, and then we started later on, say after coming back here, and we called that the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce Atlanta. Okay, so so there's no competition. There is no, as a matter of fact, they've been such a great alliance for us all those years, and such a great resource for us all those years. Believe it or not, we've learned a lot from them. They helped me do a lot of business in India, and they continue to do so. Next delegation we're taking, of course, they're going to be the one hosting, and they're going to be the one facilitating in different cities. So we really enjoyed that sister relationship with all Indo-American Chamber of Commerce chapters mainly in Mumbai, in India. So.
Absolutely. I think at one point, aligning, collaborating will always give more mileage. It's not a competition, but a healthy competition, I would say.
Absolutely.
So definitely, I think I wish. And tell us some last question would be on the imports and exports. So one of the aspirant wants to, I'm sure he's watching this show today. Tell us more, any insights on import exports? Do you have any connections? Help them in any way?
Sure. Believe it or not, 35 years ago, I had to do a lot of research myself back in the mid 80s to understand import export because the resources, we didn't have internet back then. We couldn't just type, give me Georgia's this or India's this. But nowadays, information is so handy, so available. But still, every time I go to India, I get asked this in panel discussion in one of those Indo-American chamber last in Mumbai. There were at least 5 people asked the same question, saying, I would like to sell my product in America, or, how do I do that? How do I export to US, or, so vice versa. I mean, that this question comes up even here too. But there's some, there with the state of Georgia, there are phenomenal resources available to facilitate all that. We provide all these resources to our members, for instance, the director of Port Authority in Savannah, let's say, Stacy, he sits on our board.
Wow, that's nice.
So, a great guy. The people with the railroad here, CSX, I mean, they sit on the board. So what happens that all these resources that we have with the state of Georgia, with the Port Authority, the director of international aviation at Hartsfield-Jackson, Rebecca, she is also on our board. So we have, air, water, and railway and road, all collaborate. So all of your 4 big ones, they all sit on the board. So what happens, not just import export resources, how to apply for the license, where's the best way to bring it, which port to bring it, or is it cheaper to do it with air or water, or how to, but also the logistics of how to get your merchandise from point A to point B with the minimal cost, and so logistics is a very big part of that, and it's all covered. It's as simple as picking up the phone and calling and say, Stacy, we need pine wood in India, 16 containers. How do we make it happen? And we can make it happen, right? When something is coming from there, so it's that bilateral relationship that we have it covered, again, because, I've been doing it for 35 years, right? So it's bringing the same resources I know into the chamber and making it available to all of our members. So it's my 35 years worth of connections and work, and say, here you go. You want to talk to Port Authority Director? Here he is. Say whatever you want to, spend an hour, find out what you want to do, and who can be better than that to tell you what happens at the port, right? Or here's the lady who runs the international airport, the cargo side of things. Okay, she's on board. I said, ask her whatever you want to, right?
I think this is a great place. Talking to you, I'm trying to, squeeze in 35 years of experience in 40 minutes. It is
I know it's hard to do.
What I can tell to the audience and viewers is, I saw the board members, they are highly qualified in every area, And I'm sure that being part of this membership will help the businesses to grow faster, and also advisory kind of solutions the people get. So in the interest of time, I think it's a closure. We already extended the time. I think it was not even, I didn't feel that we have, it is like 40 minutes and above. So on a last closing statement, I would like to ask, what is your message to all our Indo-American friends, colleagues, and also the NRIs who are on the H-1B visa here or in any fashion? What is your message to them?
I tell them, look, we all work hard. We all want to be successful in this country or in India, anywhere where we have the business. Come join us, attend some of our events, ask questions, enjoy it. It's free to come in and network and meet with the leadership and then decide how we can help you succeed in your business, because it's hard. It's hard to survive in today's economy and different markets, and things are very uncertain. And what's going on since COVID, things have gotten worse. But hopefully we're making that good turn and come back to a healthy economy soon. But doing business in this type of uncharted waters is as hard as it is. So, don't be by yourself. We can be your partner in business and hold your hand and show you the way, give you the resources and the tools to succeed. So, come and find out what we do, and that's my message to them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheikh. Getting your time, 45 minutes, is not so easy.
Sure.
I know how busy you are. Again, thank you so much for spending this time for the community. Right. And I would say thank you to all the viewers. And please watch this video. And if you have any questions about the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, or if you want to do any business, or you have need any advice, please reach out to me or Dr. Sheikh. He is more than happy to help our community. And as a closing note, please do watch these videos and bring in good people where that can be helpful to the NRIs. This is my voluntary opportunity for you all to serve you. Please do come and be on part of this if you have any achievements or to share. Thank you.
One thing, there are a lot of different Indo-American chambers, even local in different cities also. Mm-hmm. So look out, for Indo-American Chamber of Commerce Atlanta, which is IACC-US.com. Okay, because people do get confused sometimes. Because there's so many chambers. There's one in DC, one in St. Louis. There's a couple in Texas. So I want to make sure that. It's just the name everybody is using, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. So we're at IACC-US.com. Okay, thank you. Check us out.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.